Interested in knowing more about through hiking the long trail? Well, grab your poles and lace up your boots because there will be mud.
Here's a recap, breakdown, and cost analysis of my long trail northbound through hike.
A little bit about the LT, known as the Footpath in the Wilderness. Vermont's Long Trail is America's first long-distance hiking trail, built by the Green Mountain Club from 1910 to 1929. This 270-mile trail extends along mountain summits from the Massachusetts state line to the Canadian border.
Trail's just up top of that hill.
Yep, thanks for driving me.
All right.
Starting on August 1st, 2024, I hiked every single day for a month to finally reach my goal of the northern terminus on August 30th.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ah, I think you just hit me. I've just started another through hike.
I had most of my gear already from my Pacific Crest Trail hike, so I focused on prepping my resupply boxes. I've made a video about it if you're interested, and I'll link it here and in the description box below. Also, this is a good time to remind all you lovely viewers to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It's a free way to support the adventure videos I make for all of you to enjoy. Okay, so here's my breakdown. Starting from the Pine Cobble Approach Trail in Williamstown, Massachusetts, I broke the long trail up into 5 sections, which coincided with my resupply boxes. The Pine Cobble Approach is a 3.4-mile trail leading up to the Massachusetts-Vermont state border. From the moment you connect to the long trail, you'll also be on the Appalachian Trail. The LT and the AT share approximately 100 miles together, so if you're hiking northbound this time of year like I was, you'll definitely be hiking with AT through hikers as well.
I just came to my first white blaze, the infamous AT trail marker. Right there, baby.
I ended up pitching a tent on my first night, but I quickly realized that shelters are usually spaced about every 5 miles. I hiked an average of 10 miles a day, stopping at one shelter for rest and to stretch. I would eat lunch and filter water. Then I'd carry on and stop at the next shelter for sleep. Shelters usually have limited spaces and places to pitch a tent, so I recommend showing up in the early afternoon or evening if you want to claim a good spot. But even if you rock up late, people will make space for you, and there will still be an extra camp spot somewhere. I love that each shelter is different and that they always come with a privy. However, some are cleaner than others.
Last night, I used this composting toilet, and when I put the toilet lid down, something splattered on me and I screamed. But that's just the reality of hiking in the woods. Got this. Made it to the top. Oh, this water feels so good. After 5 days of hot hiking and no shower, this water is perfect.
After 49.5 miles, I came to my first town.
Look, there's Manchester Center right down there.
For me, hike your own hike meant having the wonderful roadside assistance of my parents. They would drive over from New Hampshire to meet me in town, feed me lunch, bring me my resupply packages, and then drop me off at a hotel for the night. From my time on the PCT, I know the challenges of hitching a ride and navigating trail towns without a car, so I was very grateful to have their help. I stayed at the Rest Motel. I'll link all my accommodations below if you want to check them out yourself. I opted for a room with a private hot tub to soak my tired legs. I highly recommend it.
Here's my financial breakdown of Manchester Center.
Here's my food and laundry expenses for a total of $250.14. And I caught a ride back to trail from the manager the next day, which is quite common for hiker hotels to offer. Section 2 from Manchester to Killington was 51.2 miles. Knowing that I hike an average of 10 miles per day, I knew to have 5 full days of food in my resupply package.
So before I even set foot on trail, I looked at a map of the entire long trail and found good stopping points every 5 to 6 days or 50 to 60 miles. That way I knew I wasn't carrying too much food at any one given time. So if you're going to do some planning of your own long distance hike, that would be my recommendation. Know how many miles you can hike per day, how much food you're willing to carry, and then just look at a map and figure out the resupply towns and hotels in between. Mile and a half till I connect back with the long trail. So It's all uphill from here.
So far, it had rained nearly every single day at this point. I tried my best to stay dry.
It was too hot. I had to take the rain jacket off. It's like 75 degrees, gonna be a high of 80. I can't keep dry. It's either gonna be sweat or rain. I'm getting wet either way.
The day I summited Mount Killington, it was all socked in with fog, so no views. I knew I wanted to stay at the infamous inn at the Long Trail. Some hikers opt to stay at a place in nearby Rutland called the Yellow Deli, but they're an actively recruiting compound and I wasn't looking to join on this trip. The inn is super hiker friendly. Here's a breakdown of my accommodation, food, and I did get a much needed massage at this portion too. So this total came to $256.50, very similar to the last town.
Listen, if you're in Rutland, go see Paul for a massage. One of the best ones I've ever had. I'll link his details below. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you in a week.
Section number 3 from Killington to Waitsfield was 63.1 miles, so it took me 6 days. The inn connected me right back to the trail, so no need for a lift.
The trail I'm taking starts right there. Don't have to go far.
This is where the Long Trail and the Appalachian Trail part ways, so you're likely to see a lot less people from here on out.
This is where the Long Trail separates from the Appalachian Trail. Goodbye, Appalachian Trail. We'll see you later. Long Trail north. I'm headed in the right direction.
What you will find is more blown down trees, which turns hiking into an obstacle course.
Okay. Made it to the other side.
I went all day once without seeing another thru hiker, just a few day hikers going south. One day I thought I saw bear poop and got a little spooked, so I managed to hike with a couple other section hikers for a few days, which was really nice. If you're a solo hiker and want some company on trail, don't be afraid to ask to join a few other hikers. You're most likely all hiking to the same shelter anyways. Or if it's solitude that you're looking for, maybe some cowboy camping is more your style. I did that on a ski platform in Middlebury.
It's 5:45 in the morning, and I'm officially a cowboy.
Lots of ski trails intersect with the Long Trail, which I found kind of fun because it breaks up the overgrown vegetation, also known as the Green Tunnel. Many of the ski lodges remain open to hikers in the summer, and in this section, if you go out of your way just a little after Mount Abraham, you'll find a plane that crashed in the 70s. Thankfully, the pilot got to walk away.
Look at that, and they just left it here. Wow.
On my final day in this section, the trail crosses a road known as Appalachian Gap, or App Gap. This is where my parents met me, and we spent the day in the tiny town of Waitsfield. And that's one of the things I love about this thru hike, is that having grown up in New England, this trail took me to towns in Vermont that I would have not gone to otherwise.
Yay!
I had booked accommodation at the Hideaway Inn. There's a restaurant on site, and they do breakfast, laundry, and the owners gave me a ride in the morning. The total here was $256.99. I only ever book one hotel at a time, always from the previous hotel. So before I even left the inn at the Long Trail, I had booked the next stay 6 days ahead. However, this would be my last hotel until I reached the end. Section 4 from Waitsfield to Stowe was only 43.3 miles, so I only had about 4 days worth of food.
I only packed enough food for 4 days for this hike, but because of the rain, it's taken me 5 days. I don't know if I got enough calories to get up and over that mountain today. Sometimes hiking includes sliding on your butt. Well, in honor of that, I feel like dancing. That was my camel hump dance.
Thanks to the kindness of others, I had some extra food that they shared with me.
You see that little skid mark of mud? That's where I fell yesterday. My foot went right in there.
And it's at this point when I summited Vermont's tallest mountain, Mount Mansfield.
Oh, it feels so good. I think I saved the best for last. It is gorgeous up here.
When I made it into Stowe, I was pretty hungry. No hotel in Stowe, I wanted to save and push on, but I managed to do some laundry and eat a hearty meal. Total here was only $62.50.
There go my crazy parents. Love them. Now it's back on the trail, headed to Sterling Pond.
The fifth and final section from Stowe to the northern terminus was the longest and wildest section of my hike. Northern Vermont is pretty remote. At times, hiking can feel more like bushwhacking, and the trail can get pretty technical.
Oh yeah, look at that spread. Well, I'm done with lunch and this is the trail now. Have to navigate through some boulders.
I got to charge all of my devices a bit at Johnson's hardware store, a great gear shop just off trail. The last 4 nights, I found myself in a little trail family as everyone's daily miles matched up. But by the end, I was tired.
So it wasn't all downhill. There's one more uphill to get to the shelter, and it's a flippin' doozy.
And then, appearing out of nowhere, was the monument.
There it is. The mile marker. Made it to the end of the long trail.
Knowing I would finish on this day, I had made a couple of calls earlier and booked a night at Rose Apple Acre Farm B&B in North Troy. It was here I got to decompress from my hike and soak in my accomplishment. My costs here were only $92.65 with a delicious breakfast included. I have so much gratitude to the members of the Green Mountain Club and all the volunteers who maintain the trail and shelters. Keeping the shelters free with no reservations required seems like a small luxury when you're out there in the wilderness. And thank you to all of you for watching to the end of this video. If you haven't already, I've got a day-by-day video diary of my whole long trail through hike. Or if the West Coast is more your speed, head on over to my PCT videos.
Okay, so now let's do my full expense breakdown, starting with REI. I got new gear like shoes, a carabiner, fuel, dehydrated meals that I knew I would like, some Pro Bars, and electrolytes. This all came to just over $250, but I had a store credit that I applied, bringing my total down to $86.56. I had to register and reactivate my Garmin Mini satellite phone, or what I call my Barbie phone because it's so tiny. That total came to $141.85. Then I had to hit up a bunch of stores to start putting together my resupply boxes. Big Lots sells a lot of discounted food, and 88 Acres sells some of my favorite granola bars. This total came to $469.74. Then you have all my town days that I went through before. I did make 2 additional stops. One was at a stone's throw farm stand and Johnson's hardware store. So here's the full breakdown visual. As you can see, hotels were definitely my largest spend, with resupply boxes coming in just after that. If I had to mail my packages though, it would have been an additional $100 just for reference. The other category was things like the massage and my Garmin. And my 2024 Long Trail Thru Hike grand total was $1,655.81. I think that's pretty good for a month-long adventure. As always, thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below if you're thinking of thru hiking the Long Trail yourself. I'd be curious to know. And as always, happy trails, everyone. Bye-bye.